Hello, this is the Slow Mojo Poetry Show. I'm your host, Slow Mojo. This is the vehicle of expression woven into the words. This is the Slow Mojo Poetry Show. And on tonight, we're going to have special. We're going to have one poem read out of the writings of Apparitions of a Warrior by Joseph Evaldi, and two poems. Also, we're going to have from the writings of Paul McCartney, from the poems and lyrics, from Blackbird singing, from 1965 to 1999. We're going to read two poems from that. Now, I get to the first poem from Joseph Evaldi, read by me, Slow Mojo. And I'm going to read this. It is called Lost Chronicle. Evil ones shed their evil minds. They always cause havoc and destroy one's happiness. Maybe it's truly time to do what I want. I am in the shadow of others. I face the battle of good and evil. But there always is a source of facing trouble. Some want to defeat it. Times have truly changed, but people haven't. They're jealous, they're envious, and they're out for themselves. From this, more rage builds. As much as it's cold to be a favorite, others should know the price of their fear. If they don't, then their fear will hurt them. As those people who are happy, they will laugh at the jealous. Beware, because that fear is the only thing that separates people from being who they are. That was Lost Chronicle by Joseph Evaldi from Apparitions of a Warrior. Now, I read a poem from Paul McCartney's book, Blackbird Singing. Poems and lyrics from 1965 to 1999. This is called Rocky, as Joe Vector would put it, Rocky Raccoon. Now, somewhere in the Black Mountain Hills of Dakota, there lived a young boy called Rocky Raccoon. And one day his woman ran off with another guy, hit young Rocky in the eye. Rocky didn't like that. He said, I'm gonna get that boy. So one day he walked into town, booked himself a room in the local saloon. Rocky Raccoon checked into his room, only to find Gideon's Bible. Rocky had come equipped with a gun to shoot off the legs of his rival. His rival, it seems, had broken his dreams by stealing the girl of his fancy. Her name was Magill, and she called herself Lil, but everyone knew her as Nancy. Now she and her man, who called himself Dan, were in the next room at the hoedown. Rocky burst in and grinning a grin. He said, Danny boy, this is a showdown. But Daniel was hot. He drew first and shot, and Rocky collapsed in the corner. Now the doctor came in, stinking of gin, and proceeded to lie on the table. He said, Rocky, you met your match. And Rocky said, Doc, it's only a scratch. And I'll be better. I'll be better, Doc, soon as I am able. Now Rocky Raccoon, he fell back into his room, only to find Gideon's Bible. Gideon checked out, and he left it, no doubt, to help with good Rocky's revival. Very good poetry by Paul McCartney. He is the legend of the Beatles, and he is a very good poet himself. Now we are at the 8-minute mark. This will be a short show because we're going to do one poetry by Joseph. The writings is Joseph Evaldi, and another poem by the legend, Paul McCartney. Now, Slow Mo Joe, I'm going to endorse some stuff on this podcast. I am going to endorse Richard Andrew Olkus and his network of Oakwood and the Olkenus Network. Richard Andrew Olkus can be found on Spreaker, and also his Kindle books, including Malathoria, can be found on the Kindle, Amazon Kindle. Also, we give a shout out to the Bill and Mo Show, which should be coming out. If not now, maybe later. I know their first show back January 6th or January 7th. Stay tuned and listen. They produce comedy and sense of humor. Joseph Evaldi will come on the show at the end of the show to do his plugs. But before we do that, Joseph, I shall read some more of Joseph Evaldi's poetry and maybe read two of his poems before I get to Paul McCartney poems. I'm going to read two of Joseph Vivaldi's poems. Me. That. Here we go. This one is called Journey for Truth. In the middle of nowhere, yet it's everywhere. Like a journey searching for the greater truth. It burdens upon lost emotions. It is lost as no one can satisfy the day. It is if they will face struggles. It challenges them. And it is the key for the new. It is a moment to step back and look if you like who you are. It is the feeling of a revived life that starts as I find myself in an ongoing battle between the dust and the wind. The dust is the dirt inside me. The wind is my dreams following in the air, as lively as in the heart I will someday find. The battle continues on another day. What's inside will have more than the story can tell after it's over. As for the future, it's a mystery to us. Here's the next poem. It is called Colors. And this is by Joseph Evaldi, me. And is from the book Apparitions of a Warrior. We see many colors, but forget where they are. I had lost my sight, and my feelings turned gray. I tried to live my passion to the fullest, but my emotions were left empty until something came and guided me, and color came back. It's only when we see color come back we realize what we have. My passion was never inside my head, but there in my heart. You can see all the colors you want, but it won't mean anything until you experienced it. I guess I felt my color coming back to me. It's very good poetry from the writings of Joseph Evaldi. Now, I read the words wrapping up the slow mo poetry show before